What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Philip Caduceus. There you go, baby.
Hey, good evening, boy, girl, what's going on? And welcome to Cage Side with Christopher James, the UFC on ESPN+40 post-fight show, UFC Vegas 13. Good night of fights, man. Good night of fights. And I enjoyed them. I hope you guys enjoyed them too if you watched it. And feel free to comment on here and chat with me and, hang out, have a good time. It's Saturday night, fight night. So, what the hell? You know what I'm saying, man? Let's just have some fun. Do this thing. Let me just do a couple of little things right here. Make sure everything's all popping. Where's my damn? That's just weird. It's not even showing. Come on, where are you at, motherfucker? Hello. We should be live on Facebook. There we go. It was just very strange just now because I couldn't see my own video on Facebook. It was very bizarre. So anyway, welcome. Good to see you. We're here. We're live. Jump in with me. Have a good time. And let's talk about some fights anyway. And hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, leave me some comments out here. Make your comments on the fights as we get into this. Maybe my buddy Garrett Kerman, the fight analyst, might jump in with me. I'm not sure. I messaged him, and he might have fallen asleep. He does that sometimes. But that's all right. We're just going to have a good time anyway, talking about the fights. Like I said, we're going to recap every fight on the card. So jump in, like I said. If you got some commentary you want to leave on the fights, feel free to jump in, and we'll discuss it, man. We might go in order. We might not go in order. It's late night. If you got a cocktail, grab a cocktail. If you got, a blunt or a bong, smoke it up, baby. It's party time. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, I got to say the card was very good. I really enjoyed pretty much every fight on there except for the co-main event between Arlovsky and Boser. It was a snooze fest. To me, the guys didn't deliver, and we'll get more into that fight as we start, working our way up the card. I went 6-4 on my picks tonight. Not exactly something to be proud of, but at least I came out on the winning side, and that's good enough for me. So, what do you do? What do? You just have a good time with it. And, luckily I don't gamble. My buddy Garrett does. I think he was betting on a 3-fight parlay, and Boser blew that one for him because Boser showed that he was maybe not ready to take on a legend like Andrei Arlovsky. That's all I could say about that, because I just, I don't understand why he didn't pull the trigger. I was very, very disappointed. But, shit happens. What are you going to do? So we are going to, just jump in and do this, I mean, look, if you're an up-and-comer, and you're younger than the guy you're fighting and he's got legendary status, you can't be hesitant. You got to go out there and show why you are the next big thing. And if you don't do that, you're going to get your ass kicked. That's the bottom line. So, don't do that. Don't not fight. Go out there and fight, for goodness sakes. And, who knows? You might get the win. You might deserve the accolades that were being heaped upon you prior to the fight. So, anyway, we got, fights. Like I said, man, we are live and we're partying. We're having a good time. Thanks to my sponsors, Just Heart, Andrew Sams at Just Heart Apparel. Guys, like I said, leave some comments on there for you guys that are watching. Yeah, Carter Glover's a beast, man. Like I said, I'd love to discuss these fights with you guys. Normally I have Garrett on with me, but since I don't have Garrett to chat with right now, he might show up, he might not. I would love to chat with all of you, get you involved in the show. Like I said, if you're having a cocktail, drink it up. If you're having a blunt or a joint or a bong hit, we're going to have a good time. So anyway, we had 10 fights tonight. One of the fights got pulled. A fight that I was looking forward to, probably the fight I was looking forward to most on the card. Ian Heinisch versus Brendan All-In Allen. Ian Heinisch tested positive for COVID, and his fight was pulled. You know, my good buddy Michael Kometz, the guy who designed my website, mymmashow.com, and put these beautiful shirts together for me. Thank you so much again, Michael. And you know, he brought up something that the favorites in like 254, I guess it was, 31 fights, 29-2. The betting favorites went 29-2. And then they go 0-2, man. That's great stuff. I think he's poking fun at some people. Michael K. By the way, guys, you see the name on there, Michael Kometz. If any of you need a website done, or maybe even t-shirts done, or anything like that, you know, printed materials, hats, you know, all that stuff, reach out to Michael. He's on my page right there. Copy his name and send him a message. He does excellent website design. Like I said, he's done mine and numerous other websites. Always quality work. I don't have any delays on my website. I don't have any lingering on my website. You know, it's not like, you know, 35 seconds to load a page. When you click on the article, it's right there. When you get a shirt from Mike, it's right here. Mike, by the way, I need trucker hats. You know, trucker hats. You know, white hat with that same logo, this logo right here on a trucker hat. The whole words though, and the shield, man. Tell me how much that's going to cost, man. I need some hats. People want hats. So, Mike, since you are watching tonight, give me your thought on a grade for the whole event. If you watch the whole thing, you know, A through F. Where'd you grade that? And you guys out there too. I give the event. I give it a B++. Some of the fights, I don't know. Let's see. You know, I think we only had 3 decisions. Oh, let me check my notes over here. We had 3 fights go to decision. And we had this card was sub heavy. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4 subs, 3 decisions, which means we had 3 fights end by KO or TKO. Man. Now, I'm going to show you guys a gross picture. 8 out of 10. I like it, Mike. I like it. So we are going to, let me pull this up right here. Let me go to my page. Hang on a second. I got to, you know, get to my spot right here. Uno momento, por favor. Right, there we go. The moment of the night, I'm giving him a bonus for this because it was sick, just straight sick. Let's see. So I'm giving a bonus out to my man, Max Griffin, right here for this beautiful moment. Where'd it go? He almost ripped this guy's ear off his whole body, man. It was absolutely insane. You know, incredible moment for him. This young man, Ramiz Bramaj, got his ear ripped off his head from a hellacious elbow laid out by Max Payne Griffin in their fight, second fight of the night. So we can jump in right here. I'll go back to the first fight in a minute. But Max Griffin came out, you know, and before the show, we had him on my show a little while back to talk about how he's evolved his training and what he's done to make himself better. He's been on the wrong end of some close fights, and he vowed that tonight he would not let this fight go to the judges. And he came out there. He looked phenomenal. His striking was crisp. His footwork was on point, and it was absolutely insane. To see him go to work like that, to evolve, to have an evolution of that magnitude and to go out there and really finish the fight. You know, he was facing a tough kid. You know, obviously, if you're in the UFC, you got some toughness and you got some skill. Let me see what Mike says here. They say often you can win a round or lose a round in the last 5-10 seconds of a match. Those last second flurries, I felt like this card was going strong with Barcelos versus Taha, and then the Bozer fight slowed it down for me. It just killed the momentum for me. And overall, any night of fights is a good night, absolutely. And you know, I agree with you that fight slowed down the card. That's why I'm giving it a B+. I can even almost go A-, but that co-main event just really, I started to nod off, to be honest with you. I'm watching the fights, and I started to doze off a little bit. I was not overly excited about that fight. Here's a guy, and I guess we'll jump into this fight now. So Dozer, because I dozed off. That's his new nickname. The Bulldozer. But both of them, they both, and Arlovsky, you almost expect it. He's going to try to use his fight IQ and his ring generalship or cage generalship, if you will, to control these younger guys who are coming up and trying to make a name off his back. But Dozer, I mean, he's a good fighter. And he almost looked like he was in awe of fighting Arlovsky. He never got into rhythm, and I saw a couple of people saying that they had him winning the fight. How do you have him winning the fight? Because he landed more strikes. He landed more overall strikes, 100%, but the important ones, the significant ones, and at the right time of the fight, all went to Arlovsky. All the biggest moments in that fight were Arlovsky. So, yeah, Dozer kicked his leg. His leg was bruised. But Bozer, kicked his leg. So Arlovsky's leg was bruised up. But other than that, he didn't really do any damage. The significant strikes went to Arlovsky. And in a fight like that, that's what the judges are going to look for. The most impactful moments of the fight. And sorry, those leg kicks, while he outlanded him total strikes in the fight, those leg kicks weren't significant enough because they didn't really stop the fight. They didn't stop Arlovsky from moving forward. They didn't stop Arlovsky from doing what he wanted to do. And it's also, part of the reason we saw a fight like this is because these two guys are counter strikers. When you put two counter strikers inside a ring or a cage or the octagon to fight, this is what we get because both guys are waiting for the other guy to do something. And at some point, one of them is going to have to engage. The problem we had tonight is neither one of them did enough engagement. And Arlovsky, when he did engage, he really did have the bigger moments in the fight. I wanted Bozer to win. I picked him to win. He was a big favorite on the card, but he lost because he didn't fight. He didn't react. He didn't initiate the action. He waited too long on his back foot. Even though he was coming forward and trying to dictate and landing some kicks, he didn't do enough, and he lost clearly on the card. I had it 29-28 for Andre. Hats off to the guy, 41-year-old. I mean, the co-main event and the main event, two 41-year-old guys still getting shit done in the octagon. And there you go. Sometimes wisdom and knowledge, outweighs youth and exuberation. So anyway, so Max Griffin gets a big win tonight in the second fight of the night. I'm giving Max Griffin $50,000. I haven't even seen what the bonuses are going to be yet. I will get to them shortly. They haven't posted them yet. Let me see. Let me hit a refresh here. Maybe they'll pop up. And here we go. Romanov gets a bonus. Giga Chikadze definitely deserved a bonus. And the fight of the night went to Hayoni Barcelos and Khalid Taha. Although, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you go look at the numbers on this fight, the total strikes landed by Barcelos was 120 to Taha's 49. And if you go deeper into this fight, let me go break this down here per round. So, significant strikes in all three rounds. Here's the significant strike total: 23 of 36 for Barcelos. I'm just going to read the first number I read will be for Barcelos. Doesn't matter how many they threw, but matters what they landed. So 23 of 13, 54 to 12, and 43 to 24. In round two, the significant strike number was quadrupled by Barcelos. In round number three, it was doubled, and in round number one, it was doubled. I do not give this fight of the night. The commentators make it sound like it was more evenly matched than it was, and it was a complete and total domination. It was all three rounds, unquestionably, for one fighter. And while the other fighter did do some, stuff in there, and, had some seconds, not moments, he had seconds. Big difference. He didn't do anything to clearly make anybody change their mind about the fight. He got doubled up in strikes. There was a sub attempt by Barcelos, a reversal. There was two takedowns by Barcelos. I mean, he won every spot of the fight. I don't agree with that being the fight of the night because it wasn't a close fight. It was one guy dominating another. How is that fight of the night? That's not right to me. It doesn't make any sense. But what do I know, man? I just watch fights. Honestly, if I was going to go with fight of the night, I would have given it to the main event, even though it only went to the third round, because Santos had big moments and almost finished Teixeira. And then Teixeira had his moment and recaptured the fight. Even though in round 2, I scored a 10-8 for Glover. But round 1, it was close. I'm going to see if they're even going to do it. Obviously, I'll have to go find the scorecards later. Round 1, it was close and I gave it to Glover because Santos came out in the beginning of that round and just put it on. We all thought it was going to be done, but Dominic Cruz alluded to it, and I've said it before. You can never count out Glover Teixeira. He's been hit hard like that and, rocked and everything, and he comes back and he gets into these scrambles, gets position, and takes guys down and submits them and wins fights. So I wasn't surprised to see it. I picked him to win specifically because of that aspect of his fight game. But to me, that was the fight of the night. Gustavo Lopez and Anthony Burchak. Burchak, it was a one-round fight. Lopez took that fight. These guys were teammates. They spent hours together. They probably have 60 or 80 hours of training together, sparring and working hard together against each other. Gustavo Lopez gets the submission rear naked choke. Max Griffin, we already spoke about. He gets the TKO with an elbow to the ear that basically separated the ear from that man's body. All I could think of when I saw that was, man, this guy's going to have to get the ear reattached. And I started thinking of the movie Face Off, where they're in the, the place where they end up taking his face off, John Travolta's face and putting on, Nicolas Cage and all that shit. But you remember one of his agents got his ear shot off and they showed them doing the ear with the laser and like some plasma. It was really weird. But that's all I could think of was, Brahmaj laying on the table sideways, recreating his ear. So Darren Elkins went out there and he earned a submission win, rear naked choke against Eduardo Gargori. I took Gargori to win this one. His striking is better. He's a crisper striker. He's more powerful, but he couldn't get out of the takedowns and the pressure from Elkins. And this is what Elkins does. And he, maintained it through the whole fight. He kept that same energy all through the night and he won the fight. Trevin Giles and Bevon Lewis. I picked Giles to win this one. I was right on this one. Giles was just winning the fight all the way through. And then in the third round, boom, blew him up. Bevon Lewis got knocked out. And it was so smooth. It was such a great performance for Giles. He hasn't been in the octagon in a while. Good to see him get back in. And I think Bevon Lewis is 1-2 now and facing possibly losing his contract in the UFC. That's a real thing. So we'll see what happens there. Claudia Gadelha and Jan Zionan. I always get her name wrong. A strawweight fight. It wasn't even close. Claudia kept working and holding her against the cage panel, trying to stop the striker from striking. She couldn't really get to the ground with her. Her takedown attempts were so telegraphed and so easy to negate. So, we look like we might have a clash at the championship level after maybe another win or two for this Yan girl, of two Chinese athletes that are going to fight for a UFC women's title. So the title will stay in China. I'm going to say this too about the Chinese athletes. The female Chinese athletes that have come to the UFC have done remarkably better than their male counterparts. Don't know why it is, but these Chinese ladies are fucking dominant and badass and good stuff to see. Giga Chikadze against Jamie Simmons. Ooh. Wow. What a fucking knockout by the featherweight man, Giga Chikadze. I believe he's 4-0 in the octagon this year. He wants a co-main or a main event in his next fight. He put on a great show. This guy is legit. He's for real. He's coming for gold. He's going to continue to march up the rankings. And, if he keeps fighting like this, man, he can't be denied. I mean, this guy is good. Barcelos and Taha, like I said, it was a one-sided affair. Barcelos won the whole fight all the way across the board in every round. Like I said, in the second round, he quadrupled the output of his opponent. So the fact that the judge only came to a 30-27, I mean, I had round 2 at 10-8, to be honest with you. Even though Taha landed some punches, the output of striking that he absorbed and the outpouring of offense from Barcelos, to me, warranted the 10-8. I'm not stingy, So, I mean, if you get it, if I feel it's warranted, I'll give it to you. So he got that one. Arlovsky and Bozer, nothing special. Congratulations to Arlovsky, keeping it live for us old guys. And then Glover Teixeira and Thiago Santos, man, what a fight for Glover. I mean, what a fight all the way around. That fight, they both had their big moments in there, and Glover, proved that his jiu-jitsu and his grappling and his ability to take damage and continue to fight, which a lot of guys can't do. You get rocked like that by Santos, fight's usually over. Glover is a tough SOB. He's very heady in his game. He knows what he's doing. And he's absorbed damage before, like I said, and he had no problem recovering from it and, winning fights prior to this. I believe he's on a 5 or 6 fight win streak now. So, how does he not get a title shot ahead of Israel Adesanya? Because if Santos, against Jan, Israel Adesanya is a middleweight. So if Thiago won, I'm sure they would have been immediately trying to book the Santos versus Blachowicz fight because the champ, needs an opponent. He won't fight till, sometime next year. He's got a baby coming. It's Christmas. So, he wants to do all that, and all that stuff. So he's got some stuff going on in his life. Whitaker said the same thing, and Whitaker's getting, asked out of a fight because they're going to let Adesanya, who claims that his enlarged boob was because of weed smoking. I put up a post about that. I said, if smoking an excessive amount of weed makes your boobs bigger, I'd be out to here. I'd be like Dolly fucking Parton. I'd be like fucking Molly Jugs. I'd be the biggest titty guy in the world. So that's a bunch of crap. A lot of people are saying that he mistimed recycling the estrogen to, cover up whatever steroids he's on. I don't know if he's on steroids. Maybe it doesn't look like he's on steroids, but you just never know. I'm not an expert on the topic, so I'm not going to delve into it too deeply. I have to do more research on it, but come on, man, stop it. If weed made you fucking get big boobs, plastic surgeons that do boob jobs would be out of business. Right? Okay. So, but Glover deserves a shot at the light heavyweight championship. I don't care. At this point, he's on the biggest winning streak in the division. He's proven his worth. He can go out there and fight with anybody. So give him the fight. Fuck Israel Adesanya in this. He's not a light heavyweight. So when there's a legit, if there's no legitimate contender there, okay, I even understand the logic behind it. But there is 100% a legitimate contender there at light heavyweight. His name is Glover Teixeira. He's on a 5-fight winning streak. I might even be 6. I might have lost count. And he just took out the number 1 contender in the world. Easily. He took some damage, but once he got to the ground and he got on top, not a problem. Jan hits hard, but even if Jan pops Glover's going to put him on the ground, work him over, dominate him until he can submit him or until he can, ground and pound into a finish. Give the man the fight. He's earned it. Period. End of discussion. So there's no way that you cannot give this guy the fight. But, the UFC is going to do what they do. The UFC is going to just UFC. And, that's some bullshit. That's what I'm saying, bullshit. So I don't even know what they're thinking, but they think this is going to be a big money fight because it's a champion versus champion, and it's a double champ opportunity for one guy, but not for the other guy, So, and I'll be honest with you, Adesanya and Jan isn't going to sell. Jan is not the personality. He doesn't have that outgoing, alpha personality. He'll say some stuff on social media, in response, but he's not engaging. He's not polarizing at all. So, the money fight there would have been, Darren Till at, for 185. We'll go down there. Darren Till and Israel would be a great fight because that would make money for the middleweight belt. But at light heavyweight, there's a legitimate contender. Israel, stay in your lane, stay in your division. There's always going to be time down the road, right? If you're as good as you say you are, you're going to dominate whoever comes at you at middleweight anyway. So why not get a few more wins and establish that you've cleaned out the division, which you haven't done yet, and then make the move up. I've got, 3 title defenses, so I'm the greatest. Stop it, dude. Stop it. It's not true. It's not right. I don't like the fact that they're going to do this and hold up 2 divisions again. Here we go again. All these fighters at 205 are now going to be stuck waiting behind Israel, and all the fighters at middleweight are going to be stuck waiting to find out when their champion's coming back to defend the belt. it's a horrible thing that was created when they did this with Conor, and it set a bad precedent and trend in the UFC. And they need to just, check it for a little while, man. Wait till it's worth doing. Have a guy like, like if John Jones decides to move, which he did, he decided to move to heavyweight. John Jones is an undefeated light heavyweight champion, 15 title fight, 15 title wins. He wants to move up to the next weight class. Cool. Let Francis and Stipe fight, and John Jones, gets the winner. Even Curtis Blaydes said today he'd understand if he got passed over for a John Jones title fight versus the winner of Ngannou and Stipe. And he was cool with that because he understands the business. I still think that Curtis should be next. Even though he's got the loss at Ngannou, I mean, he beat everybody else. Ngannou got dominated by Stipe in the first fight. I don't think that result is going to change. Except Stipe may finish him this time, man. We don't really know how tough Ngannou is because we haven't really seen anybody check his chin the way he checks others. Look, him and Derek Lewis were so afraid to punch each other in the face. They had the worst heavyweight fucking fight in the history of the UFC. Although Arlovsky and Bozer tonight, was kind of close. Boring. So Ngannou has one thing, he's powerful. He can punch you, and he throws some powerful leg kicks. But again, Stipe is a well-schooled veteran. He's already beat him once. He knows the game plan. He isn't going to go in there stagnant and, go, well, I beat him once. He's going to train harder for this fight than he did the first time. He's felt some of the power. He was able to survive. So Stipe wins. So if Stipe wins, like I think he will, and they leapfrog Curtis Blaydes with John Jones goes out there and beats Stipe. What happens next? John Jones rematches Stipe. Then at that point, Curtis Blaydes is completely getting screwed over, and I'm not down for that. The guy's earned his shot. So if it goes down the way I'm talking about, and Jones ends up fighting the winner of Ngannou and Stipe, either one will get the matchup. Then Curtis has to fight the winner of that fight. So if Jones gets Stipe, or if Jones gets to Ngannou and Jones wins the belt, or Ngannou wins the belt, whoever's got the belt, after, if John Jones gets implemented into the mix, then Curtis Blaydes. If Jones doesn't, show up yet and he still wants to take a little longer before he jumps in the fray, then whoever the champ is after Ngannou and Stipe rematch, Curtis Blaydes is next. I don't see Curtis Blaydes losing to Derek Lewis. Just don't. Derek Lewis, while he always says he's improved his cardio and his conditioning, by the end of fights, it doesn't look like he really has. So Curtis, however, he learned a little valuable lesson from his last fight, and I guarantee we won't see him gas out like that ever again. So anyway, so if you guys got any more thoughts on this night of fights tonight, feel free to jump in and give me some commentary. If not, we broke them all down. Like I said, Lopez beats Burchak with a rear naked choke. Round one, Max Griffin rips an ear off with an elbow of Ramiz Brahmaj, and TKOs him in round three. The ear is so gross, nasty. Elkins beats Gagori. Romanov subs out Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Trevin Giles beats Bevan Lewis. Jan beats Gadelia. Giga Chikadze gets a performance of the night for his knockout win over Jamie Simmons. Fight of the night went to Barcelos and Taha, although I don't think it was a fight of the night because it was one-sided. So that's just my opinion. Arlovsky and Bozer put me to sleep, but Arlovsky got the win, subbed out a 29-28 win in the main event. Glover, the ageless wonder, if you will, 41 years old, took out the seriously threatening Thiago Maheta Santos in round three with a rear naked choke after getting worked over in round one and then maintaining position after getting beat up in round one. Santos, on my card, finished round one on top in dominant position and took back the round, even though he got damaged early in the round. Round two, I gave it a 10-8 to Glover, and if there was like 5 seconds more in round two, the fight would have ended in round two. Round three, finished the fight. That's it. I should have some guests on tomorrow. I might have Max Griffin on to talk about his big victory and get his feeling of seeing dude's ear. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in and allowing me to be a part of your life tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the fights. As again, thank you for letting me be part of your lives and you guys being a part of mine. I always appreciate it. And I can truly never put into words what it actually means. So boys and girls, until next time, I am Christopher James. You have been Caveside. Good night, everybody.
What happens if you lose, Nick?
Who the hell is Aquaman?
I get Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, I get sausage biscuits. Maybe you guys will see a little footage of that later on because we got some good stuff.
Fill up the deuces. There you go, baby.